DancingWind, the founder of Sacred Earth Connection. The wonderful little guest that I bring to you today is one who inspired me a decade ago. However, I wasn't doing these videos yet. And then last year, just before my husband Michael and I moved to California from Alaska, I was able to capture a caterpillar in video. We went through a recent experience that just brought all of this together so that I'm able to feature the caterpillar for you today. And this little being that I call a caterpillar in this video is a general name that I'm using for crawling beings that have not reached their adult phase yet, whether they're moths or butterflies or flies. The one that you'll see in this video is actually an elm sawfly. And so what caterpillar taught me while I was simply silently observing one evening in my beautiful gardens, which is how I receive so much insight and wisdom from nature, was how divine support has so many invaluable forms, and it can be so subtle. So it's so important to be aware and open to receiving it. I was silently sitting there, and this gorgeous black swallowtail butterfly caterpillar really stood out, and I saw her crawling through the jungle of my garden persistently. And it was so fascinating because she encountered so many obstacles, including rocks that she had to either choose whether to crawl over or around, and then she would crawl up these blades of grass or stems of plants, and she'd just keep crawling, reach the top, and then realize there's nowhere else to go, so she'd crawl back down and just keep going. And there were so many little journeys intertwined into this big journey that she had undertaken. And I simply silently observed. At any point during this little caterpillar's journey, I could have intervened to benefit her. And I received the insight of how the divine is like that, and spirit, our divine team of guides and guardians, they're like who I was in that garden, simply lovingly observing. And we are like these caterpillars on our journeys, going on our paths, and we will encounter obstacles and challenges and different situations where we can choose to do it alone, or we can open up from our hearts, because this requires heart-centeredness. And it's not the emotional heart that I speak of, but the wise, sacred heart. It's your connection to the divine and all beings of divine love and light who are our helpers and our team in this world, so that we can live a more fulfilling life and live with more ease and rewards through our challenges. And so Michael and I recently were involved in the mass evacuation in Sonoma County due to a big fire that was burning northeast of us. And it was still very far, but we could actually see it from the yard burning on the Mayacamas Mountains. The night before the evacuation, we were observing this fire. We both work with dragon guardians. And so it was really interesting that the fire suddenly formed two big dragon eyes looking right at us. And so in that moment, this was a Friday night, we realized that we were being called to pay attention. And so we had a premonition then that we would probably get evacuated the next day. And sure enough, the evacuation warning came at about noon. I especially had the strong feeling that we needed to pack everything that we didn't want to leave at the house and get out before an evacuation order came through, because at this point I really felt that it wasn't a matter of if, but when. And we live in this beautiful rural area that doesn't have multiple roads to get out. There's one road and it goes a long way through forest, which is very narrow, and there's a big population in that forest also. So it became really clear that we needed to get out as soon as we could before everyone was ordered to get out. And so that's what we did. Once we committed to that, we just put everything in the cars, and as we were nearing the highway around sunset, just about 6:30 in the evening, we heard the order come through, and we felt so incredibly blessed to have that higher awareness guiding us, because we ended up in traffic that was so flowing and relaxed. And we also were blessed to have our dear friends who live just south of San Francisco in San Mateo. And so this is where we were able to spend 5 days in this beautiful home with them, with a beautiful garden and lots of wildlife. We heard soon afterwards that so many people were stuck in traffic jams that where it should have taken 30 minutes to cover a certain distance was taking 3 to 4 hours. And it just adds to stress and frustration. And even if you know that the evacuation is just precautionary, it's still not a pleasant situation. And so by living from heart-centeredness, you not only make invaluable connections with others who also live from their hearts, but you also receive that extra support when you need it, especially when you need it most. It's just so invaluable to practical life to have that connection with spirit and nature. And so my guest Caterpillar and I invite you today to consider how much do you trust and do you recognize when you receive higher guidance, such as gut feelings or dreams or hunches, premonitions, what might feel like an idea out of the blue, insights that suddenly come through. There are so many ways that we can receive a higher guidance, and it's really important to pay attention to how you receive your own higher guidance and to trust it. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to share. And wherever you are on our beautiful Mother Earth, I hope that you're enjoying the current season. Here I'm enjoying the glorious season of autumn, and I wish you continued empowerment on your unique journey of life. And I send you great love.